Okay. About 30 seconds. All right. Hey everyone, this is Riley, Pick345 on Twitter, and I'm here to talk about the EPL slate tomorrow. We got a great slate, 7 matches in total, 2 showdowns, 1 5-match slate. So should be great morning soccer. And we're gonna kick it off here with Arsenal versus Leicester, and this is a very intriguing matchup from a multitude of kind of areas. Number one, from fantasy, which is obviously what we're covering, but also kind of just generally in the league table, where both these clubs are, where these teams are, where they're looking to be. I think this is a massive game for both of them, just kind of in who's kind of in that next tier outside of the top 3. And this is a very important game that I think is going to go a long way. So, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off here. So I'm going to start with Arsenal. My favorite player kind of in this, he's kind of been one of my favorite players all season, is Smith Rowe. And he's going to be playing attacking midfield. He is, he's been really good. He's leading the team in shot creation actions. He's, top 3 shots on target, shots on goal, shots assisted. All he does a little bit of everything, and I think he's still pretty kind of undervalued versus what his prices are. So he's definitely a guy that I'm going to be looking to captain, because I do like Arsenal in the spot. I think they're going to come away with 3 points. Leicester, they've been kind of hit or miss for me this year. They had a big win versus Man U recently last week, but like I said, they've been hot and cold all season, and you really got to wonder, can you trust them in the spot? They obviously they've been playing a lot better, since the kind of a rough start. But the schedule to me really hasn't been impressive. They beat Brentford, they beat Burnley, or they drew with Burnley, drew with Crystal Palace, lost to Brighton. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a team that I don't really trust recently. But with that being said, I will say from DFS perspective, Tielemans, he's a guy that I've been targeting not only in EPL but also Europa League DFS. He's kind of the same thing as a little bit of Smith Rowe. So he's doing everything. He's doing the crosses. He's assisting shots, getting shots himself. He's had some fabulous goals recently too. So that's definitely a player I'd be looking at. And, he's going to be my top target from Leicester. And when I'm building lineups here, and I will be playing this one because, like I said, I think it's a very intriguing. It should be an exciting game. It sounds like people are kind of all over the place on in terms of where they think is this game going to have goals. Is it going to be a little more cagey? My side, I kind of see it somewhere in the middle. I think Arsenal 2-1 win. That would be my prediction. But yeah, I mean, those are Smith Rowe, Tielemans. Those are going to be 2 guys that I'm going to have in, I'll probably play, let's say 2 or 3 here, but they're going to be in all my builds. For me, they're must plays. I think where you really need to, make a stand is going to be your attacking players. Who from these sides do you trust to get a goal or, get enough shots? Because you basically have three guys who, they can give you 20 points or they can give you three. I would say Saka is probably the most consistent in terms of providing a floor, but his ceiling all season has been a little lower than the other Arsenal attackers, and the same goes for the Leicester guys. I'll be mine. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I know that's wrong, but um, he's been very solid. He's gotten his chances in front of the goal, and give him credit. He's taken advantage of them. He's put in a good amount of goals. He's really taken advantage of his shots. His XG numbers are great. Shots and target numbers are great. He's definitely going to be the guy that I'm looking at from Arsenal attack. He's going to be my favorite kind of target. Like I said, I think Smith Rowe, he's great for an assist, but he also gets his chances to shoot. But if he is going to get an assist, I would say Aubameyang is going to be kind of my top target of who's going to finish there, because he probably does. He has some really good quality. And I'll point out one more Arsenal player, because like I said, I like Arsenal in the spot. I took him plus 190 to win. I think it's a great price. I think we're really, since kind of that rough start they had, they've really improved, especially defensively. So if we can get 2 goals from him, I think they win this pretty comfortably. But one more player I'll highlight is Partey. He had a goal last time out. He actually had some pretty solid numbers, shots on goal. He's getting looks. He's kind of in a tough position just for attacking, but like I said, Leicester, they've given up plenty of goals. Their defense has been very questionable, so he's going to be a kind of cheaper range guy I'm looking at target. And he does have some decent potential, getting some shots assisted, just being on the ball and different things like that. So yeah, those are going to be my just kind of general thoughts. It's like I said, it's an interesting game. I do like Arsenal in the spot, so my builds are going to be a lot more heavily tilted toward Arsenal. I'll probably do a lot of I'll do some 4-2s and some 5-1s for Arsenal. But if you think it's going to be a goal fest, then I'm not going to blame anyone for for playing Verdi or Madison or anyone on Leicester. And all right, well let's move on to the 5-match slate. Very, very different than what we had last week. So okay. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. We'll actually, we're going to cover the other showdown, and then we'll do the 5 o'clock slate. So yeah, let's jump on the Tottenham Hotspur Man U. This very similar to the first one. This is a very important game, I think, for both clubs. Man U, they've obviously been in the news all week. Are they getting a new manager? Seems like a club in chaos, and typically, kind of a general theme for betting is when you see kind of that noise, you need to look at that side, because you're going to get some value. And Man U plus 140, they're favorites in the spot to Hotspur. That might raise some eyebrows, but I think Man U's has a significantly better squad here. 1 through 11. Obviously, you have Kane and Son, and they're great, but there are some question marks everywhere else. But their attacking numbers, their expected goal numbers, shots on target numbers, things like that, they've been pretty poor. They're like bottom 5 level in the EPL, and that's not good, considering, like I said, you have Kane and Son, who are some of the best attacking players in the EPL and in the world. So they get this match at home. They get Man U, like I said, who's in just complete chaos right now. Media's all over them. Just everyone's getting questioned. It seems like things are going south there. So, based on who I like in this match to win, I don't, and that's why I'm actually taking the draw at plus 260, because I think that's, like I said, I think that's a ridiculous price for this match, which both teams I think are kind of on the hot seat. More Man U, obviously, but I think they both would be thrilled with a point here, just to kind of keep things sweep things under the rug, per se, for another week. So do I think this match is going to be a little more cagey maybe than an outsider might expect? Yes, I do think Man U is going to tighten things up, because what they've done the past few weeks, is, even including the Champions League, is the defense has just been nearly non-existent. So I do expect them to play a little bit more of kind of a defensive match. Obviously, they have Ronaldo, they have Sancho, they have Bruno, Rashford, Greenwood. They have attacking talent, obviously, up front, and and maybe do we see Cavani here? He was great last season. I don't really know why he hasn't seen much time. He's still, maybe he's not as athletic as some of the younger guys, but he's a clinical finisher, and I I would personally like to see him get some run here, and I think he should. But anyways, back to more some kind of fantasy thoughts. I really do. I think this is going to be a more possession based game. So to me, with that being said, two defenders that I'm going to look at that I really want to include in my builds are going to be Luke Shaw and Sergio Reguilon. Both Shaw is obviously from Man U. Sergio is from Tottenham. These are guys who are going to get crosses and in this type of game, like a 1-1 draw, they're going to get a lot of crosses. They're going to get a lot of possession. They're going to get all the things that you look for when you get a defender who puts in a 20-point performance on DraftKings. So those are two guys that I'm going to be targeting heavily in my builds in this one. Pierre Højbjerg, Danish midfielder for Tottenham. He's going to be a very cheap option for you, and he also does kind of the same things as a defender. He's going to get some crosses. He has some shot opportunities. He's very good at getting the ball up front to Kane and Son, kind of from the back. So he's another guy that he's going to be a cheap option, someone to just kind of put in your lineups. For Man U, obviously, I think Bruno is going to be kind of how I'm building. He has a very, very high floor, and what I'm going to be looking at here is probably having some Bruno captain, paying up for the captain, obviously, and then including like a Shaw, a Sergio, and then maybe trying to go a little cheaper with like a Højbjerg. And then the tough thing is what do you do with Kane and Son? Because Kane really he's yes, he's his price point is a little more expensive kind of than anyone else, but man, he really is disappointed. But you can never discount him to put in a 30-point performance, 2 goals, bam, but we just haven't seen it yet. So what do you do with him? Personally, I don't know how invested he is right now into the season, so I'm gonna kind of look away, pivot away from him. Son to me is going to be the Tottenham attacker that I play. I'm actually going to look at Sancho here. I think he just, to me, his numbers are okay, but he just seems due to kind of he seems due for a breakout performance. I'm gonna have him. I think he's gonna be lower owned. Obviously, people are gonna pivot at Ronaldo, and can't fault anyone for that. But like I said, I think this is gonna be a more kind of slower, more defensively tilted match. So I'm gonna look at someone like Sancho, who probably provides some points outside of scoring. He's gonna he can get some shots assisted. He can get some possession, get some crosses, things like that. Things where when he was at Dortmund, he was doing really well, and especially in DraftKings fantasy, he was one of my favorite guys to play last year in the Bundesliga. But yeah, so those are going to be my kind of general thoughts on those two showdowns. So let's actually pivot here, and now let's get to the 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central slate. We got 5 matches on the card here. Yeah, this is actually basically the complete opposite of what we had last week. So we're going to have 3. We have some big favorites here, and we have add one more match. So it's going to be, it's a tough build. You have a lot of options. You kind of have 3. You basically have 3 big favorites, kind of all in the same area: Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea. What else is new? They're all playing. Liverpool kind of probably has the toughest match of them with Brighton, and more on that later. But Crystal Palace and Newcastle, that really shouldn't be much resistance for City and Chelsea. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with, actually, what's the order on this? Just to. Okay. All right. So let's start with Burnley and Brentford. So yeah, Burnley. I would say that's one thing I pointed out last week was I expected Burnley to get a couple goals, and that was correct. Where I was wrong was who's going to score them, and that's always kind of the risk with Burnley. You really just have no idea where the offense is going to come from, regardless of the stats. I'm going to just point out one. I'm just going to point out again, Dwight Mcneil. He had a pretty solid game. I was planning a table for him last week. I think he had an okay performance. I think he's a good buy here again at 6.6K. You can put him in the attack. He's going to be very low owned here, but like I said, he provides a pretty high floor. So if he can do something like get an assist, then you're looking at 20-25 points easily. So, and like I said, he has great shot on goal numbers. he had another shot on target last week and just missed it. So when is he going to get his goal? And it might be this week. So yeah, he's going to be my favorite player to look at here for Burnley. The defender I'm going to look at here is Matt Lowton. He's going to be 4.8k. He had a pretty solid performance last week. He's going to do all the things you look for in a high defender. He's going to get crosses. He's going to get shots assisted. He's not going to shoot much, but he's going to get those two things, and that's where he's going to get most of his point output. One surprising fact is Burnley is in top 3 in the EPL in crosses per game. So if you are a fan of those like I am to get DraftKings points, this is a great team to look at. And they have an opponent, Brentford, who I would say Brentford is better than Burnley. The market right now, it's about even. If you account for home field, Brentford's probably a little better. So, I wouldn't be worried about Burnley, only having 20% possession like they would against City or Chelsea or something like that. Brentford, they're an interesting team. They started out hot. They beat Arsenal. I think everyone remembers that. 2 goals. Offense looked great. Since then, they've kind of slowed down. They're really just looking to control tempo, play kind of a rock fight. It's almost like they're almost, if you follow college football, they're almost looking like a Big Ten team recently. But they do actually have some really good attacking talent, guys that absolutely dominated championship second division last year. And the one guy I'm going to look at is Ivan Toney. He's 7.7k. He has really good numbers, shots on goal, shots on target. He's going to be their main striker here. And Burnley has definitely given up plenty of opportunities recently. So like I said, 7.7k, probably going to be lower owned compared to what else you have on the slate here with the big 3 clubs. The one lower price guy I look at that I think I will have in a lot is he is the Danish midfielder Christian Nourgaard. He is going to be 3.7k. His form, last 2 matches he's averaging 13 DraftKings points. He's gotten 9 total shots. So he's going to be up front here. And like I said, Burnley's giving up plenty of chances. Is his form going to continue? I think at 3.7k, it's definitely worth a shot because if he gets a goal, 3.7k, then you're looking at a very optimal piece in your lineup and someone you can include. As I move forward, someone you can include with a Salah or a Grealish or whoever it is from Liverpool City that you want to include in your lineup. So that's one guy I wanted to highlight because he's going to be in a lot of my builds because I think he, especially in GPP at 3.7k, great price. And yeah, but I did actually play the draw here in this match. I'm expecting kind of a 1-1 match. I don't really think either of these teams separates too far. So even if it's 2-1, I'll leave the door open for, a 2-2 finish, or if it finishes 0-0, I wouldn't be surprised at that either. All right, so moving on here. Let's get my notes. All right, so we're going to move on here to Liverpool and Brighton. Yeah, Liverpool, obviously you cannot deny what they've done. Their form is outrageous, to say the least. They are the highest scoring team in the EPL right now. If you include what they're doing in the Champions League too, they are really, really just, getting the goals, and it's incredible to watch. And what Salah is doing is unbelievable. He's been the best DFS player, and he's starting to get priced like it. 12.3k. It reminds me of if anyone plays Bundesliga. He's looking like Lewandowski here at that price. And for me, it's difficult to say that it's not worth paying up, especially here. Liverpool is obviously the better squad here, minus 425. So the betting market agrees. He's minus 175 to score anytime. So yeah, it's very hard to argue that, I'm not saying it's very hard to say, toss him, don't play him, because I think he's definitely worth the play. Obviously, you're going to have to find some cheaper guys to kind of include with him. But yeah, his numbers are incredible. He's getting all his shots and he's getting opportunities. Brighton is a team that I do like. They're very solid, just kind of 1 through 11. There's not really a standout, but I think they might give Liverpool a little fit. So I would say one bet I actually took in this match is I took both teams to score plus 105. Like I said, I think Brighton, they're pretty good in front of goal. They have solid players everywhere. I think they can definitely do enough to get a goal. They scored against City. They scored in most of their matches this year. I think this is, Liverpool. They have Champions League football 2 coming up here on Tuesday. So is this a spot maybe where they go up 2-0 and then win 3-1? Yeah, that's kind of what I expect out of this one. But I do think Brighton has the quality here to score. So I actually I'm going to highlight 2 guys from Liverpool that I really want to look at, and that's going to be defenders and Andrew Robertson. He is going to be 5.6K. I know a lot of people are going to look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's very expensive. I really think Robertson provides kind of a little kind of the same things at a cheaper price point. He's going to get crosses. He does get a lot of opportunities flying up the left, crossing it into Mane and Salah and Firmino and whoever it is that's attacking up there. So yeah, he's a player that I love. He's one of my favorite defenders in the EPL to play, and we'll see about lineups. I'm getting some kind of mixed signals here, but I do like Diogo Jota. Sorry, he is going to be 7.6K if he's playing up front for Liverpool. He's got really good numbers, very similar numbers to kind of Salah, just in terms of getting pure shots. He obviously is not a clinical finisher like Salah. Who is though? So those are the three players that I really like on the slate from Liverpool. One guy I'm going to look at here is Pascal Gross. German midfielder. He's usually priced around like 9.5K, 9.2K. He's 6.3K right now, and that is just because of the matchup, really, if you ask me. And I think that's a little too harsh of an over adjustment here. So at 6.3K, I mean, he does all the things you're looking for in a great midfielder. Shots assisted, shots on target, crosses. His points. He's gotten double-digit points in every match except for one, and that one was against City, who I think has a far superior, at least back line than Liverpool. So for me, 6.3K, that's going to be a player I'm targeting a lot. And even if Liverpool wins this match 3-1, he can still get 20 points just based on what he does with possession. So, and another player too, I'm going to take a punt on with Brighton and a few GPPs is Trossard up front. Like I said, he's kind of their main striker, main shot taker, and 5.1K for a pretty solid goal scorer in the EPL. I think he's worth the punt. Okay, and well, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one here. We're going to go at Crystal Palace and Chelsea. Excuse me, not Crystal Palace and City. And it's going to be at City, so proper ways. City with Crystal Palace. So yeah, I mean, this is another one. City's a big favorite here. I can't really make an argument to go against them. I do like him in the spot. I really didn't find anything betting wise take value because City's been known to win matches 2-0, 1-0, 3-0, just kind of go through the motions but dominate at the same time. I'm going to look at Grealish here. I tried to play him 2 weeks ago and he didn't get the start. I think it looks like he's going to get the start here, and he's been great he's leading the team in shots on target. He's shot creation actions as well. He's been very solid for them. The goals, the stats, I guess you could say, have not followed him yet, but I do think they will. And I think this is a great opportunity for him to kind of break out and get a goal, get an assist at 8.9K. He's going to be a player I'm targeting. Another one is going to be Bernardo Silva, midfielder. I think he's another guy. He gets his opportunities in the midfield, and he's been a sneaky player here. He's been very consistent, and he's priced a little lower, just I think because of what else, 6.9K, what else they have up there, but he's been very consistent, and he takes advantage of his looks. So even if he only gets 1 or 2 looks on goal or make a good assist, he's usually cashing in. So those are going to be the 2 attacking guys I'm looking at. Another defender I love here too is Joao Cansello, 6K. Like I said, he's doing all the things you want in a defender, and he actually provides some solid shot opportunities, shot material. He's got some shots on target this season. So yeah, 6K. This is a matchup that they should dominate. Crystal Palace, I'm not really going to look at them at all. If I had to lean anywhere, I guess I would look at Gallagher, but he's struggled lately. I mean, they have been able to score, but this is going to be a whole different beast here. So yeah, let's wrap that up. And where are we going next? We are going to We're going to go to Newcastle hosting Chelsea. Now, Chelsea is going to be without, you know, three usual starters here. They have Havertz is going to be playing the false nine. Mount is going to be coming off a massive game, hat trick, last one. And then, they kind of just have a mixed bag of everyone. So, but I do like them in the spot. Newcastle, like I said, their defense is probably the worst defense in the EPL. So Chelsea should get plenty of opportunities. It looks like they'll probably dominate possession. This is probably my big favorite to target just because of what we're getting on price. Havertz 7.8K. I mean, plug your nose, but he's going to get a lot of opportunities in this one. He really just has been disappointing all year. Can he figure it out here with a favorable matchup? I think so. I definitely have him in some GPPs. I would stay away from him in cash. That is for sure. But two guys I really like here. One midfielder, Drew. He's going to be on penalties, and he also takes some set pieces as well. He's only 4.9K, and like I said, they're going to dominate possession in this match. Is it likely that you obviously can't predict penalties, but he got 2 last week, so like I said, 4.9K. He's kind of a good GPP gamble because his floor can be pretty low. But yeah, at 4.9K, I'm going to play him. And then another one I'm looking at, and like I said, this is going to be lineup dependent because I'm seeing mixed reports, but the Croatian midfielder Kovacic, he's 5.5K. He's been doing some great things, and I think he's severely underpriced. I'm surprised he's not more like in the high 6, low 7s range. So if he's in the lineup, must play, cash, GBP, anything for me. Their defenders, they're tough. You can kind of go all over the place, but I do like Andreas Christensen, 3.3K. He finally got a goal, but they have great clean sheet opportunity here, and he does provide some header opportunities. He actually scored for the first time in his Chelsea career, but if you look at his international play, he does provide header opportunities. He's very tall, so he'll be a good punt. He's going to be around 3.3K, I believe, last time I looked. And yeah, I think Newcastle, like I said, I'm not really going to play much Newcastle. They're just I expect them to get dominated in the spot, but it's always hard to not look at Richie, 5K defender, one of my favorite defenders in the EPL. I think he's a little expensive just based on the matchup. I don't really see how much possession they're going to get, but we'll see how they do. Like I said, I think Chelsea dominates here, and I think the betting market agrees with me there. So yeah, let's move on to for me probably the most intriguing game on the 10 a.m. Eastern slot. We're going to go to Watford and Southampton. Watford really, I think, kind of surprised everyone last week. They dominated the second half against Everton. Joshua King has a hat trick. He was 4.8K last week, so I don't, it seems like no one really expected that. I certainly didn't see it coming. Good for him, though. That was incredible. I think what he did. But yeah, this is a match that I'm definitely targeting here. I took over 2.5 goals in both teams to score. That's around plus 110 right now. So, shop around, look for the best line there, obviously. But yeah, I think this is a match that, should provide some open play opportunity. Really, Southampton, to me, I went against Redmond last week, and that was a mistake. He was heavily owned, but he's really looks like he's really living up to it. But one thing I'd be careful of, though, is I'm watching for Ward-Prowse. Looks like he has potential to get back in the starting lineup. I think that would really, really hamper his opportunities. I think he's really taken advantage, though, of his absence and been the kind of controlling midfielder. So definitely someone to look at. I'm gonna go back to the well here. I gave him out last week. He's disappointing. Mohamed El-Yunusi, the Norwegian striker for Southampton. Like I said, he has all the stats. He's got everything. He just needs to find the net, and I think he can do it here. 6K, so his price dropped significantly from last week. Definitely a good GBP gamble. Looking at defenders, I'm looking at Perraud here, 4.4K for Southampton. Livramento, the other one, he's going to get a lot of the attention, I think, just because he had the assist last week. But to me, they're very similar players. He's a good pivot, 4.4K. Going to get crosses. He has a chance to get an assist. And if this match is open, like I said, I think he provides he provides a pretty good floor. So those are going to be the three Southampton players I'm looking at. And Watford, I'm going to look at probably one of my favorite plays on the slate is going to be Cucho Hernandez, Colombian forward. He's going to be 6.4K. He's doing everything here in terms of creating shots, creating goals for Watford. He's had a little bit of a drop off lately, but I think this is a great bounce back spot, for him to get back in the lineup and provide kind of what those shot creation actions, whether it's assisting or shots himself. He's going to be 6.4K. He's going to be a great guy to include, especially if you want to pay up for some attack. Yeah, I mean, Watford everywhere else, it's tough. Do you go with King, who can he replicate that performance from last week? I mean, history would say no, but he obviously can't discount getting a hat trick, especially against a really solid team like Everton. Personally, I'm going to go with no. He's not going to repeat it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is a match that provides some goals. So you have Sarr too, is going to be 7K. He provides a high floor just based on doing some other things like getting some shots assisted, crosses, passes, just different things like that. So yeah, those are going to be my thoughts on that game. And like I said, I think it'll be a little more open. So definitely a match that I'm going to have a kind of a sneaky stack in, try to get, see if it's potential to be the highest scoring match on the board, which, when obviously anytime you have the three best teams on the slate, it's going to be tough. But like I said, I think it's worth a decent GPP gamble. So yeah, I mean, those are going to be kind of my general thoughts. Like I said, I think it's an interesting slate. Tough one. You got 5 matches, which, you got more teams, more players. But yeah, I mean, I would say my main builds here are going to be City, Chelsea, Liverpool. I'm probably going to do stacks on their own and then try to include kind of the cheaper players, like I said, from Burnley or Brentford or Southampton or Watford. Just kind of try to mix those in. And then cash lineups, just kind of the main guys I highlighted in the article. You can check that out on yourfieldchoice.com. Those are going to be kind of my cash plays. So yeah, I once again, I think it's an interesting slate and should be very entertaining, starting with the early kickoff with Leicester and Arsenal. All right.